I was kidnapped. The kidnapper tried calling my parents, who were on vacation abroad, but couldn't get through no matter how many times he dialed. We stared awkwardly at each other, the air thick with embarrassment. To avoid being killed, I volunteered to call my fiancé, a man I'd never even met. And so, Captain Chen, who was in the middle of organizing training for his criminal investigation team, received a ransom call from a kidnapper. Are you even your parents' biological kid? Come on, big guy, chill out. Maybe their phones will work in a bit. I grabbed my phone and stubbornly dialed my mom again. Sorry, the number you're dialing is out of service area. Please try again later. Listening to the dead tone on the line, my heart sank. I'd only returned to China 3 days earlier. My parents said that now I'd graduated from university, it was time to learn to be independent. So they'd sent me back alone to build a life and to sort out my lifelong commitment with the guy I'd been betrothed to since childhood. They'd given me his phone number, this stranger I'd never laid eyes on, then booked a holiday package to the Maldives and jetted off. Who'd have thought that the day after I landed, I'd get kidnapped? The kidnapper made me call my family, but neither of my parents' phones would connect. All I could think was, if no one comes to ransom me, am I going to end up dead? The more I panicked, the more terrified I got. We were still sitting there staring at each other in awkward silence when a light bulb went off in my head. I remembered the phone number my parents had given me, and like a drowning person clutching at their last straw, hope surged through me instantly. Big guy, how about I call my fiancé instead? He's in China, he should pick up. Why didn't you say so earlier? I dialed the number. This time, no out-of-service message blared. I waited anxiously for someone to answer. At that very moment, the phone on Chen Ran, captain of the city's criminal investigation team, started ringing while he was leading his officers in training. After 2 beeps, a deep, magnetic male voice came through the line. Hello? Who's this? I was happier than the kidnapper finally. I was saved. I quickly hit the speakerphone button and held the phone out to him. The kidnapper clearly had never done this before. He was nervous, stammering as he spoke. Listen up. Your fiancé's in my hands. Be at the 2nd North Bridge by 2 o'clock this afternoon with 500,000 yuans. If you don't show up, you'll never see her again. Silence greeted him on the other end, followed by a burst of laughter in the background. Is someone with you? No. Just watching TV. How do I know she's safe? His tone was calm, coolly negotiating with the kidnapper. The kidnapper glanced at me. I played along perfectly, yelling, help me. You hear that? No calling the cops. No tricks. I want that 500,000 yuans by this afternoon. Fine. I'll scrape the money together. But you have to send me a photo of her to prove she's okay. The kidnapper hung up immediately after hearing that. He grabbed my phone, snapped a picture of me tied to a chair, and sent it off. Then he stuffed my phone into his pocket, still looking uneasy. He turned to me to double-check. Is this fiancé of yours reliable? Will he really cough up 500,000 yuans for you? I wasn't sure myself, but I forced a smile. I guess so. But before long, the wail of police sirens echoed outside the door. The kidnapper didn't even have time to react before he was tackled to the ground and cuffed. But my eyes were fixed on a handsome young police officer who came over to untie me. He was so good-looking. If only my fiancé looked like this. Inside the police station's interrogation room. Talk. Why did you kidnap that girl? Because she's dumb. Because she's dumb. What kind of excuse is that? Spit it out properly. I'm telling the truth. I kidnapped her because she's dumb. I saw her get on the bus the other day. She asked the driver if she could pay with a card. He said yes. So she pulled out a card and swiped it over and over, but it wouldn't work. And what's that got to do with kidnapping her? Then the driver took the card to look at it. Turns out, she'd been swiping a credit card this whole time. Go on. I used to be a credit card sales representative. I recognize that card. Its minimum limit is 1 million yuans. I figured she must be some rich man's daughter slumming it. So I paid her bus fare for her, then buttered her up to get close. She said she just got back from abroad, didn't have a job yet, and nowhere to stay. I kept an eye on her, followed her for 2 days. Turned out she really didn't know anyone here. She was just staying in a hotel. That's when I made my move. Meanwhile, I was in the police station's restroom, shoveling down the meal one of the policewomen had brought me. Slow down. Don't forget to make your statement after you finish eating. The policewoman beside me looked at my ravenous eating with sympathy, but I didn't care. I even asked her, by the way, how did you guys find me so fast? She laughed when she heard that. We have the kidnapper to thank for that. He sent the photo from your iPhone, and iPhone photos have location tags. The only place in that area where you could hide someone was that unfinished building. We found you straight away, the person who reported it. I was about to ask about my childhood fiancé. After all, he'd basically saved my life. I was wondering why I hadn't seen him yet, when the handsome officer who untied me walked out of the interrogation room and waved me over. Finished eating? Come with me to make your statement first. I stood up obediently. Okay. He picked up a notebook and pen, then thoughtfully poured me a glass of hot water and set it in front of me. Name: Ye Ran. I've had a quick chat about your situation. Do you have any other relatives in China? No, just my fiancé, I answered honestly. A fiancé is fine. Can you get in touch with him now? I was confused. Wait, didn't I call him? Didn't he report me missing and you guys came to rescue me? Haven't you seen him? The handsome officer's expression turned unreadable. What's your fiancé's name? I don't know. I watched his expression grow even more complicated, so I quickly added, it was a childhood betrothal. I went abroad when I was little, but I know his dad's name, Chen Jianye. Cough. Cough. He seemed to have choked on his own saliva. I quickly handed him the untouched glass of water. He took a sip, then stood up abruptly. I need to make a phone call. I'll be right back. 10 minutes later, he returned, looking at me with a mix of emotions. You're Auntie's daughter? Me? So you're my future husband? I was bouncing like a little rabbit in the passenger seat of Chen Ran's car. Who wouldn't be over the moon to find out their arranged fiancé is a tall, handsome guy over 6 feet tall? Chen Ran, who was driving, didn't respond. His face looked like he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Chen Ran lived on the top floor of his building, with a huge balcony that I instantly fell in love with. As soon as we walked in, I flopped down on the hanging chair and started swinging. You can stay here for the time being. I've tittied up a room for you. I'm pretty busy with work, but you can call me if you need anything. So does this mean we're living together now? I watched as his cheeks turned bright red, the color creeping all the way to the tips of his ears. What's wrong with you? It's not living together. It's cohabiting as roommates. Oh, well, we were betrothed since we were kids anyway. We're gonna get married sooner or later. Living together isn't a big deal, really. I muttered quietly to myself. After all, I was more than satisfied with this fiancé my parents had picked out for me. Childhood betrothals are old-fashioned. That kind of marriage isn't encouraged anymore. I stopped swinging my legs and looked him straight in the eye. So you hate me? No. Do you have a girlfriend? No, that's not it either. I just think we just met. We don't know each other at all. Rushing into something like this wouldn't be responsible for either of us. So if we get to know each other, we can be together then, right? We'd have to like each other too. Oh, I nodded thoughtfully, already plotting how to make Chen Ren get to know me and fall for me fast. In the end, I decided I needed to get a job first. My parents had sent me back to learn independence after all. And now that I was living with Chen Ran, the last thing I wanted was to laze around at home doing nothing. I had to find work. That night, I scrolled through a bunch of job apps until I found one that sounded amazing. No educational requirements. No experience needed. Simply reply to customer inquiries. Earn 50,000 yuan a month easily. I wasted no time contacting them and booked an interview for the next day. The next morning, I jumped out of bed bright and early to get ready for my interview. Chen Ren was already back from his morning jog and he'd made me breakfast. I took a big bite of the delicious sandwich, grinning from ear to ear. Wow, Captain Chen, your sandwiches are resi good. My cheeks were stuffed full as I showered him with compliments. His face turned a little pink. You're going out? I found a job. Gotta go for the interview today. All right. Be careful on the way. He saw how quickly I was eating and poured me a glass of milk, handing it to me. I took a big sip right from his hand, then looked up and gave him a contented smile. His face flushed even more. He put the glass down. I've got a big case wrapping up at the station today. I'll probably be home late. Don't wait up for dinner. Okay, you be careful too. I'll miss you while you're gone. I watched him hurry out the door, his steps a little flustered. I pouted to myself, men really were such sunders. Then I got dressed and headed out for my interview. Following the address on my phone, I arrived at a rundown old residential building. I called the person who'd contacted me, and soon a sleazy-looking guy with a thick accent popped out from an alleyway, leading me into one of the apartment blocks. As soon as I stepped inside, a strong stench of cigarette smoke mixed with some other unidentifiable odors hit me. I couldn't help but wrinkle my nose. It's your first day, so you'll just get a quick feel for the company's business. Zhao Weng here will show you the ropes. I followed his pointing finger to a scrawny young guy with a sallow complexion. I walked over and sat down at the desk next to his. Zhao Wang handed me a smartphone. Basically, we're just regular salespeople. Chat with customers and get them to buy our products. That's all. This document has all the scripts you need, just stick to those. All the materials, photos, and videos you'll need are in the phone's photo album. With that, he went back to his own work, leaving me to study the script alone. Selling tea? I was still trying to digest the endless lines of script when the phone pinged with a message. I picked it up. The profile picture was a guy's selfie, and his message read, "Who's this?" I quickly grabbed the script and replied verbatim, "Sorry, brother, I must have added the wrong person." "Oh, then delete me." I panicked, flipping back to the script for the next line. "Since we were destined to cross paths, why not be friends?" Sure, whatever. I let out a sigh of relief, then pressed on, sticking strictly to the script as I chatted. "So what do you do for work, brother?" "Me? I raise geese. You wanna buy some geese?" "Me? I work at my dad's company. I'm in admin." "Oh, so it's a big company. Why not order some geese for the staff meals? I'll give you a discount." I ignored that and kept going with the script. "Nah, I don't really like my job. I love photography, but my dad says it's a waste of time. We got into a huge fight, and now I don't even feel like eating. Then buy one of my geese. Theory delicious. I'll give you a discount." I know they're just trying to look out for me, but they don't understand what I really want at all. "Oh, so you want geese? Discount for you. I grew up with my grandparents. I barely talk to my parents. I'll teach you how to communicate with them. Buy them a goose to nourish their health. Discount for you. I want to go back to my grandparents' house to help them out. They work so hard roasting tea." "Do you like drinking tea, brother?" "Brother likes eating geese. If you're going back to your grandparents' house, why not bring them a goose? Discount for you." I was at a loss for words. Why wasn't this guy playing by the rules? I was about to ask Zhao Wang next to me what to do when there was a loud bang at the door. A team of police officers burst in, yelling, "Everyone get down on the floor." Here I was again in the same interrogation room. Chen Ren was sitting across from me, and he'd even poured me a glass of water. "Talk." Chen Ren. I wanted nothing more than to crawl into a hole in the ground and move to another planet. This was so humiliating. Since I'd only just returned to China, I'd had no idea about this tea scam scheme. It wasn't tea until the same policewoman from before gave me a full hour of stern lecturing at the station that I realized it was a form of online fraud. Chen Ren watched me from across the table, a faint amused smile on his face as he looked at my crumpled, dejected expression. "You know you messed up?" I nodded vigorously, my head bobbing like a chicken pecking rice. Yes. Yes. Yes, I deeply realize my mistake. I'll never trust fake online job postings again. I'll turn over a new leaf and be a good person from now on. "You're not gonna arrest me and throw me in jail, are you?" Pfft. Chen Ren burst out laughing at my overly earnest, guilty confession. "You're not gonna go to jail. You didn't know what you were getting into. And you didn't cause anyone any financial losses. No jail time." But my heart, which had just started to relax, sank again. "You've ended up in the police station twice in 2 days. Your legal awareness is way too weak. You need to get a better grasp of the law." And so, like a scolded schoolchild, I was lectured about legal knowledge all the way home with Chen Ran. As soon as we got back, I locked myself in my room. That afternoon of public humiliation was going to take a lifetime to recover from. The next morning, I was still wallowing in embarrassment when Chen Ren woke me up for breakfast. "What are you gonna do now?" I perked up a little after taking a sip of the delicious preserved egg and lean pork porridge, replying, "Keep looking for a job, I guess." "What kind of job are you looking for?" Chen Ren placed a peeled hard-boiled egg on my plate. I stared at the shiny, smooth egg and my mind went just as blank, with no clue what to do next. "I don't know what kind of job I want. What did you study in university? Or what are you good at?" Seeing how lost I looked, Chen Ren gently guided me, trying to help me figure it out. I thought hard for a moment, and finally a glimmer of light appeared in my eyes. "I can shoot a gun. Is there any job that involves shooting?" "Guns are banned in China, but there are jobs related to shooting sports." "How good are you?" I think I'm pretty good, actually. I had no idea how my skills stacked up in China. I hadn't practiced in years after all." "Then I'll take you to a shooting range today. We can test your skills." "Really? Don't you have to work today?" "I'm off. Yay!" Chen Ren took me to Jiangxi's biggest shooting sports center. I was as excited as a bird, darting straight to the 10-meter air rifle range. Chen Ren followed close behind and stood next to me. Feeling playful, I challenged him. How about a competition? Chen Ren looked a little surprised, raising an eyebrow. Are you sure? I nodded earnestly. Loser has to do one thing the winner asks. Deal? Seeing how serious I was, Chen Ren's competitive spirit was piqued. Deal. All right. I'll go first. I picked up the rifle, and the playful grin on my face vanished instantly. I focused completely, took aim, and pulled the trigger without hesitation. Chen Ren seemed stunned. He just stared at me wide-eyed even after I'd lowered the gun. I waved a hand in front of his face. What's wrong? Hypnotized by my stunning beauty. Cough. Nothing. My turn. Chen Ren snapped out of his daze, turning his head away awkwardly. He picked up his rifle, aimed, and fired in one smooth motion. When the scores came up, mine was 6.9 points, Chen Ren's was 6.7. Hey! Captain Chen, bringing your girlfriend to practice, huh? No wonder you didn't perform your best today. You were distracted by love, weren't you? Still, your girlfriend's skills are pretty impressive. The guy calling out the scores clearly knew Chen Ren well. He teased him about losing, and when I heard the words your girlfriend, my heart did a little happy flip. I stuck my tongue out at Chen Ren in triumph. Ha ha ha, you lost? He obviously hadn't expected to be beaten, but he kept his promise. What do you want me to do? I thought for a moment, then made my decision. I want you to be my boyfriend for one day. Chen Ren's face turned bright red. He was about to say something when a woman's voice sounded behind us. Well, if it isn't Zhao Ran, long time no see. What brings you here today? Is this your girlfriend? She's beautiful. Chen Ren turned around. Sister Lan. Then he turned back to me and introduced her. This is Coach Lan from the provincial shooting team. Just call her Sister Lan. I greeted her politely. Hello, Sister Lan. Hello, hello. Zhao Ran. Is this your girlfriend? She's absolutely lovely. Chen Ren was about to explain, but one sharp glance from me shut him up. He let out a soft and said nothing more, though the tips of his ears were burning red again. Chi. This young man is in his 20s and still so shy, pathetic. Come here, girl. I saw you shoot just now. You're really talented. Let me see you fire a few more rounds. Sister Len pushed Chen Ren aside playfully. He pointed to the spectator seats nearby, then sat down to watch me from a distance. With him staring at me, I felt a sudden urge to redeem myself after the scam fiasco. I focused even harder on every shot that followed. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. You've had training before, haven't you? Yeah. I guess you could say that. Sister Lan and I went to grab some water, then sat down next to Chen Ran. Zhao Ran, your girlfriend looks so familiar to me. Have you brought her to see me before? No, I haven't. Then where have I seen her? Oh, I remember now. The national championship in America 2 years ago. You were the champion, weren't you? Chen Ran looked at me in surprise. I smiled shyly and nodded. Wow, Zhao Ran, you've brought me a real gem. The national championship is coming up soon, and I'm short on talent. Can you ask your girlfriend to come help me out as a temporary coach for a few days? I'm desperate for someone with real expertise. Sister Len was practically beaming from ear to ear. Chen Ren glanced at me, and I looked back at him with shining eyes. And just like that, I landed a job as a temporary coach. Time flew by in the blink of an eye. A month passed in a flash. I was swamped with work that month, and Chen Ren seemed even busier than me. He often didn't get home until midnight. We barely saw each other. Today was the final day of the championship. The kids had all performed amazingly, so the coaching team decided to go out and celebrate together. But I was feeling glum, because I hadn't seen Chen Ren in days. Sister Len noticed my mood and sat down next to me. What's wrong? Did you and Zhao Ren have a fight? No, he's just been really busy lately. Sister Len sighed, patting my hand in comfort. There's nothing you can do about that. It's his job. You'll have to get used to it. He's always tied up with work, and he's such a shy guy. He never makes the first move. So when he's free, you have to seize the chance and make a move yourself. Her words were like a bolt of lightning to me. My mind was filled with nothing but seize the chance and make a move. I stumbled home in a daze, and as soon as I opened the door, I ran straight into Chen Ran, who'd just gotten home from work and stepped out of the shower. Whether it was the alcohol in my system or Sister Len's pep talk, I marched straight up to him, propped one hand against the bathroom door, pulled a gun out of my pocket, and pressed it to his forehead. I mimicked the kidnapper's tone, growling fiercely, Captain Chen, your life is in my hands now. If you don't agree to be with me, I'll pull the trigger. Chen Ren was completely caught off guard by my bold move. He glanced at the gun pressed to his head and couldn't help but laugh. Then shoot. His words made me see red. You'd rather die than be with me? Without hesitation, I squeezed the trigger. There was a soft pop. A tiny flame flickered at the end of the gun barrel. Chen Ren sighed, amused, taking the pistol-shaped lighter out of my hand. Then he swept me up into his arms bridal style and carried me to my bed. But I wasn't done yet. I grabbed the towel wrapped around his waist and tugged it hard. Chen Ren froze instantly, both hands flying to hold the towel in place. His cheeks were bright red as he looked at me. Be good. Let go. I'll make you some hangover soup. I won't let go unless. Unless what? Come closer. I'll tell you in secret. Trapped by his towel, Chen Ren had no choice but to lean in. Closer, a little closer. His ear was practically pressed against my lips now. He was completely helpless against my drunk self. I can't get any closer. Spit it out. I grinned mischievously, wrapping both arms around his neck. I used all my strength to flip us over, so that he was lying on the bed and I was on top of him. Unless you stay here with me. Hee. With that, I snuggled comfortably against his firm chest and drifted off into a sweet sleep. I finally dragged myself out of bed at noon the next day. My head was pounding like it was about to split open. I reached over to the nightstand to grab my phone, but instead my fingers closed around a toy gun. I stared at it blankly for a few seconds, my mind going completely empty. Why was there a toy gun on my nightstand? Then I noticed that next to my phone, there was also a glass of warm honey water. In an instant, the memories of my drunken antics came flooding back to me all at once. When I recalled the part where I tugged his towel off, I wanted to die of embarrassment. I buried my face in the pillow, screaming silently. I'm so humiliated. After half an hour of psyching myself up, I finally mustered up the courage to march out of my room like a soldier going to the gallows. I'd already rehearsed how I was going to apologize to Chen Ren for my sexual harassment stunt. But when I opened the door and glanced around, Chen Ren wasn't home. I let out a huge sigh of relief. I washed up quickly, my mind a jumble of chaotic thoughts. Feeling restless, I decided to go out for a walk to clear my head. As soon as I stepped downstairs, my eyes were drawn to a mother and baby store. A vague thought popped into my head, and I walked straight inside. When Chen Ren got home, I was in the living room, examining a pile of baby products, trying to figure out how they worked. He stared at me in confusion. Are we expecting a guest with a baby? No, I still couldn't bring myself to look him in the eye, answering quietly while staring at the floor. Then why did you buy all this stuff? I'm gonna use it myself. Why would you need stuff for pregnant women and babies if you're perfectly fine? I'm pregnant. Shouldn't I start preparing early? Chen Ren looked like he'd just been struck by lightning. He froze, staring at me in shock. Watching his expression, my heart sank, and I felt a surge of anger. I'm carrying your child. What's with that look? You don't want to take responsibility? The shock on Chen Ren's face turned to confusion. When did you get pregnant with my child? I huffed, crossing my arms over my chest. Yesterday. We slept together, didn't we? If it's not yours, whose is it? Ha ha ha. I stared at Chen Ren in disbelief as he laughed until tears streamed down his face. Was he so happy he'd lost his mind? Is that supposed to be funny? Seeing how serious I was, Chen Ren managed to stop laughing, looking at me with that same unreadable expression. You're not pregnant. Two people sleeping in the same bed doesn't automatically make a baby. I was completely confused. But Mom and Dad always told me that's how it works. And they do it in TV shows all the time. Yes, couples sleep together to have babies, but it's not just sleeping. You'll understand when you get married. Anyway, you're not pregnant. Stop messing around with all this stuff. Oh, we already slept together though. Does that mean I didn't get to finish my sentence? Chen Ren's phone rang. He answered it, said a few quick words, then grabbed his jacket and rushed out the door, pausing only to tell me, I have to go to the station emergency. Does that mean we're together now? The last four words were drowned out by the sound of the door slamming shut. I stared at the closed door and the pile of baby products scattered across the floor, letting out a long, dejected sigh. Half a month passed. Chen Ren barely came home during that time. Bored out of my mind sitting alone in the house, I decided to go out for a trip. I'd heard that the moon god temple in the next city was super effective for matchmaking. I figured I'd go there to pray for my relationship with Chen Ren. He was so busy, I never got a chance to chase him properly. This was my way of taking the scenic route to winning his heart. When I arrived at the temple, even though it wasn't a holiday, it was packed with men and women praying for love. The centuries-old peach blossom tree in the courtyard was in full bloom, the air thick with the sweet scent of romance. It was covered with red wish ribbons fluttering gently in the breeze. A sight so beautiful it was hard to look away. Seeing how bustling the temple was, I was convinced it must be incredibly. I followed all the proper rituals, bowing devoutly to the moon god, then drew a fortune slip. The old lady who interpreted my slip smiled and told me it was the best possible fortune and upper slip. According to your fortune, you and your beloved are destined to be together by heaven itself. The person you like feels the same way about you. You two will definitely have a happy ending. I was over the moon, pressing a big red envelope into her hand. The old lady grinned from ear to ear, praising my sincerity as she handed me a pair of peace lock pendants. Wear these with the one you love. They'll not only protect you both from harm, but also bless your relationship to last forever. I was even happier now. Clutching the peace locks tightly, I bowed to the moon god once more before heading out. But as soon as I stepped back into the courtyard, my eyes were drawn to two figures standing under the peach blossom tree. Was that Chen Ran? What was he doing here? Under the peach blossom tree, Chen Ran was holding a woman's hand, chatting and laughing with her. I thought I must have misidentified him, so I walked closer to get a better look. It was definitely Chen Ran. What was he doing here? Who was that woman next to him? My mind was flooded with questions. I followed them from a distance, watching helplessly as he took her hand and led her into the main hall. They emerged 10 minutes later, and the woman was holding a fortune slip too, smiling as she talked to Chen Ran. Chen Ran was smiling gently, taking the water bottle she handed him, unscrewing the cap for her, and giving it back. She took a sip, then handed the bottle back to him, gesturing for him to drink too. Watching them act like any other couple here, my heart felt like it was being eaten away by 1,000 ants. They fit right in with all the other lovebirds in the temple, while I felt like a complete outsider. Just then, Chen Ran, who'd taken the woman's water bottle, glanced in my direction. I panicked and spun around, turning my back to him. I didn't know why I was hiding, I just didn't want him to see me. I felt like a fool. I stumbled out of the moon god temple, walking aimlessly with the crowd. I suddenly didn't know what to do or where to go. I looked down at my wrist where I'd been carefully clutching the pair of peace locks, and they felt like a cruel joke now. I took them off and tied them to a withered tree in a quiet corner of the courtyard. Thinking about everything that had happened that day, coming to the temple alone to pray for love, only to find the man I liked here with another woman, I felt like the most pathetic person in the world. The more I thought about it, the sadder and more wronged I felt. I squatted down beside the dead tree, hugged my knees to my chest, and buried my face in them, crying for a long time. It's all a lie. Everything is a lie. I had no idea how I made it back home. I felt like a walking corpse. I pushed open Chen Ren's front door. The living room was still cluttered with the baby products I'd bought, and he still wasn't home. Maybe I'm just in the way here. That's why he never comes home anymore. I moved around the house like a zombie, packing up all the baby stuff, tears streaming down my face uncontrollably. I'd been alone in this house for almost a week now, like the real owner had completely forgotten about it. I thought about everything that had happened between me and Chen Ran over these past few weeks, every little moment we'd shared. He'd never said he liked me, not once. It had all been one-sided, all my own wishful thinking. Maybe he really didn't like me, but because of our family's arrangement, he'd had no choice but to take me in. And to spare my feelings, instead of rejecting me to my face, he'd just slowly distanced himself, waiting for me to figure it out on my own. I just happened to figure it out a little earlier than he'd expected. I packed up all my things. When I'd arrived here, I'd had nothing but a small suitcase. Now, I had 3 big boxes full of belongings. The cartoon cushion on the balcony swing, the matching couple door signs I'd stuck on our bedroom doors, the pink tablecloth on the dining table, the pair of blue and pink couple mugs I'd bought for the mug rack. This house looked the same as when I'd first moved in, but somehow, everything felt different now. I walked to the door, then paused, turning back to leave a note for Chen Ran. Dear Captain Chen, thank you so much for everything you've done for me these past few weeks. From saving me from the kidnapper to getting me that job, from making me breakfast to taking care of me in every little way, I'll never forget any of it. I like you so much. But even if we don't end up together in the end, you'll always be my hero. You were right. Childhood betrothals are just old-fashioned nonsense. For 2 people to be together, there has to be real love between them. I respect your choice, and I hope you find happiness. I've overstayed my welcome here. It's time for me to go. Take care of yourself. Don't miss me. After leaving the note, I hailed a taxi to the airport. I'd already booked a flight to Sanya. I needed a change of scenery, a fresh start. The plane was 15 minutes late taking off. I took one last look out the window at the city that had felt both so strange and so familiar to me, my heart filled with indescribable sadness. I turned around, ready to walk through the boarding gate. Ran. I froze, thinking I must have imagined it. Ran. I spun around, and there he was, the man I'd been missing like crazy. He was running towards me fast, like his life depended on it, looking a little disheveled. When he got closer, I saw the dark circles under his eyes, heavy and exhausted. He skidded to a stop in front of me and pulled me into a tight hug. I was completely stunned, frozen in his arms. His eyes were red as he looked down at me, his thumb gently brushing my cheek wet with tears. I hadn't even realized I was crying. "You idiot." Chen Ren brought the last dish out of the kitchen and sat down across from me at the table. "Why did you leave? What did that note mean?" "I saw you at the moon god temple with her." He looked at me, equal parts exasperated and fond, shaking his head. "Why didn't you wait for me to come home so you could ask me about it? Was there even a point?" Tears welled up in my eyes again. What was he trying to say? Did he want me to stay here and listen to him say he liked someone else to my face, just to twist the knife even deeper? "Don't you even want to hear my explanation?" "You don't owe me an explanation," he sighed helplessly. "She's my colleague. She already has a 2-year-old child." My eyes flew wide open, staring at him in disbelief. My expression clearly screamed, "I can't believe you're such a cheater." Seeing my misunderstanding, he reached across the table and pinched my cheek lightly, but firmly. "What on earth are you thinking? We were on a mission." He pulled out his phone, opened a local news article, and showed it to me. The headline read, "Major drug trafficking ring busted in city. Police apprehend all key suspects hiding at Moon God Temple." "So you two were just acting that day?" Chen Ren nodded, looking at me with nothing but fond exasperation. I didn't know what to say, angry at myself for jumping to conclusions, angry at him for not telling me what was going on. All sorts of emotions swirled inside me. Chen Ren watched the ever-changing expressions on my face, then pulled something out of his pocket and set it down in front of me. "Look what I found." I lifted my head and there they were. The pair of peace locks I'd thrown away. The little bow I tied on the string was still there, exactly how I'd left it. He picked up one of the locks, grabbed my wrist, and fastened it around it. Then he held up his own wrist to show me he was wearing the exact same one. Inside the room, covered from wall to wall with red double happiness wedding stickers, I curled up under the quilt, only my head peeking out. Chen Ren walked out of the bathroom, drying his hair with a towel. He looked down at me, my big eyes staring up at him, and chuckled softly. "Why are you looking at me like that? Husband, you lied to me." He looked confused. "When did I lie to you? You told me that when I got married, I'd find out how two people sleep together to have a baby. But we're already married, and I still don't know." Chen Ren couldn't hold back his laughter. He climbed into bed beside me and turned off the light. "You're about to find out."